Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Comfort Level Podcast.
It's a show.
I'm Maddie, and I'm here with
Brandon.
Sam.
And Sam is trying to go eat some food, so let's get right into this episode.
Yes. I did just find this out in Nebraska. It is illegal to marry your cousin. And
Why do you need to know that?
It wasn't me researching it or anything.
Yeah.
It just came up in conversation.
Well, I thought you said you looked it up.
I didn't look it up. I found it out.
So if I were to rewind this and then replay what you just said.
You can do whatever you want. Or you can, what you're probably going to do is edit my words together to make it seem like I said that. But I didn't.
When has she ever did that?
All the time. All the problematic things I've said on this show have been edited for it to make me seem like I said it.
No.
Every single thing.
You do it yourself, Sam.
I've never said any of those things.
You do it yourself, and then I force you to apologize just so that, people will like you again.
Right. So it's one of those two things, and we don't know which.
All right, story number
Let's
one.
get some compilations going. Sam canceled compilations? That'd be
No,
great.
we don't need to bring them up.
Maybe I'll do it
Oh, no.
on my burner account.
Oh, no.
There we go. Am I the asshole for telling my fiance my daughter has to be in our wedding?
Has to be?
Has to be.
Our daughter.
My daughter.
Oh, my daughter.
Okay.
Oh, so it's not even your wedding.
It's your new wife, his new wife.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, my daughter is in our wedding.
Oh, telling this to the wife. She's like, no, you can't be in the wedding. And the daughter, he's like, oh, my daughter's going to be in the wedding.
Yeah. Exact quote.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And you know what is interesting is there's a few that were voted assholes. So it's just interesting that you start with being a little edgy today.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
never
that's
does
fine.
that. He always says, I see both sides.
No, that's afterwards.
Oh.
No, literally an episode from a few weeks ago, you guys both go after each other because you call him out.
Yeah.
You're like, he always says that. And then later on in the episode, Sam says, I see both sides. And Brandon's like, he always says that. The one with Sadia that came out a few weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shout out Sadia.
Shout out Sadia.
Hey.
All right. Am I the asshole for telling my fiance my daughter has to be in our wedding? I, 45 male, have a daughter, P, from a previous relationship. I divorced my ex-wife on good terms, and we share 50-50 custody of P. She's now 11. After I divorced my ex-wife, I met my now fiance, S. S and my daughter get along really well. After 5 years in my relationship with S, I proposed. S was super excited and wanted to start planning right away. She looked at venues and started asking her friends to be her bridesmaids. Then she told me she wanted her niece to be a flower girl, which I had no problem with, but I said I also wanted P to be a flower girl. S looked at me funny and then said that she didn't think that P would fit the part. I got angry and told S that my daughter would be in our wedding. S started to become upset and said that the girls in the wedding were up to her and P wouldn't be one of them. I told S that if P wasn't in the wedding, then there might not be a wedding.
Oh.
I stormed out and took P to get ice cream. P knows that we're getting married and told me that she thinks she'll look pretty in whatever dress S decides that she should wear. This broke my heart, and I decided to text S. I told her that I would be staying at a friend's house to think this over. My mother-in-law texted me saying that I'm overreacting and that my daughter doesn't have to be in my wedding, and that I was an ass for saying that I would cancel. And this one has an update, by the way.
Well, this, just clarification. So the daughter's 11 now, or 11 at the beginning of the relationship and then 16 now?
She's 11 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was like.
That changes everything.
Why do you take this 16-year-old girl to ice cream? Like, hey, you're getting ice cream. I was stuck there. Okay, so 11-year-olds now. I think it doesn't bode well for the relationship that S, that's the new fiance, can't compromise at the beginning of the marriage. Like, this is just let, she could be the, assistant to the flower girl.
Right.
Just let her be in the wedding. Why are people like so strict about letting people in weddings? It's fine.
Yeah.
And it's a little girl. Just let her in the wedding. Let there be two flower girls. Mm-hmm. Your niece over my daughter? How dare you? Your niece got 2 left feet.
Oh.
Huh? We don't talk about it. And I wasn't even going to bring it up. I was going to let her 2 left feet go with my normal daughter walking ahead.
Sam, just be the bigger person and walk away from the situation.
Nah. We ain't walking away from this. My daughter's going to be in this wedding. Or I'll find someone who will let my daughter be in the wedding.
Goes back to ex-wife. Hey, can we get married
We need to
again?
rekindle this because this is crazy. Our daughter can't walk in my wedding. The ex-wife's like, I don't really
What are you
care.
talking
I don't
about?
care about this.
Her new husband walks in. He's like, what's happening?
Yeah. Let her be in the husband. The new husband's like, hey, she could be in our wedding. Proposes right there.
I've been meaning to ask you this for a while, honey.
I would love that.
The whole scenario?
I would love this. I like thinking of the new husband walking in. It's like, hey, you want to do this? She's like, you didn't think about this before this? You're like, no. Like, this kind of inspired me.
And then like the ex-husband is just like has like the Arthur hand. He's like, God dang it.
Ex-husband just starts unprovoked hating.
I agree with Sam where I'm like, you can't compromise and create a position for her.
Right.
Like, if half of the party that is getting married is like, this is a non-negotiable for me. My daughter will be in the wedding. You can have your niece in the wedding, but my daughter will be in the wedding. And the fact that she is not willing to compromise at all
Right.
is crazy and very unfair. And I mean, canceling the wedding, I don't know. I mean, your daughter's a really important part of your life. And a lot of people, as they have kids, they say, I'm not going to compromise with this new person. They need to know like how important my child is from a past relationship is in my life. So even though, yeah, you and I will be married in the future, I have my daughter who will always be with me.
Right.
Like, you know, so.
Kind of makes me nervous for the future. Like, if they have kids together, like how she's going to treat that daughter. This is like, it's not even like the expectation of like, oh, I have something I want, you know, and you have something you want in the wedding. Let's come together and compromise. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's going to be both of their daughters. So it's like, if you guys had a daughter together before you got married, she would probably be in there.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't this other child be
Right.
in there?
Yeah. So top comment. This is a really big red flag. If she doesn't want to include her stepdaughter in the wedding, then don't expect that she'll include your daughter in her life, which is what you just said. So there's an update. Hey, Reddit. Thanks, everyone, for all the kind words and suggestions. To answer a few questions.
I'm back with my ex-wife.
But then her husband proposed?
Yes.
Her fiance proposed?
So it's a weird throuple thing kind of.
Triangle.
I just really want to see my daughter walk down, be the flower girl for whatever wedding I'm
Yeah.
in, so...
Or assistant flower girl, something.
To answer a few questions, my daughter is not disabled, chubby, or have an awkward phase / braces or glasses. I did ask if P could be a groomsman. S immediately shot me down. S is 39. She's the same race as my daughter. This is her first marriage. I tried to answer as many comments as possible. I came home to talk to S today. When I pulled in our driveway, my mother-in-law was sitting there in her car. I got out, went inside, and tried to avoid talking to mother-in-law. S was sitting at the kitchen table, and I joined her. She sat in silence, so I asked the first question. Why does P not fit the part? And why don't you want her in the wedding at all? Her answer full-on shocked me. She quietly said, I was hoping that after the wedding, you could become a holiday visit-only dad. I didn't want her in the wedding, so she wouldn't be in the photos around the house, since she wasn't going to be around much. I kept my cool, calmly took her hand, and pulled off my engagement ring. Her eyes started to tear up. She said we shouldn't end the marriage over this and that she can change. I told her the damage was already done. I told her I wanted her things moved out by next week and that she could come get them when my daughter wasn't home. The house is in my name and I paid for it. I was allowing her to get furniture that she paid for. She stormed out and mother-in-law came knocking on the door saying that I was being unreasonable.
No, that's crazy.
I couldn't imagine only seeing my daughter 3 to 4 times a year. The fact that S wanted me to give up my custody blew me away. I'm sitting on my couch just in shock. Our honeymoon was supposed to be in Hawaii. Looks like me and P will be going instead. I will update again if anything happens.
Mm-hmm.
So our bad thinkings were true.
Like our dark, this is crazy.
Because that's crazy. It seemed like she wanted to break it up because I can't imagine you saying that and thinking like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. Because she's like, oh, we don't have to break up. I can change. I'm like, if I was planning on changing, I wouldn't have said it. I was like,
yeah.
I would have made something up. I'm like, oh, I just didn't know if like Red's a good against her tone or whatever, but we can make it work. I would have said something like that, but that's bold.
That's really bold.
How do you... No one in their right mind would think that's okay.
Well, that's where I'm like, maybe not. Because I'm like, there's plenty of dads out there who are like, I'm a holiday dad. And you can find a guy who's going to be a holiday dad who has previous kids. And like, that's fine. It sucks you found one of the ones who are not holiday. He's like, no, I'm trying to be in this girl's life. That's not kin. But she can find a holiday dad.
Easy.
They're out there.
Easy. Sadly.
You can find the non-holiday. I got one of those, but no dad.
No. Sam, it's okay.
No, it's fine.
Sam, you'll find
okay.
somebody.
No, it's fine. I'll find a dad? Because I yet to find him.
Sam, no.
Okay, but it's cool.
Don't do this.
No, we're
good.
No,
I thought you were talking about a partner, Sam.
No.
I'm sorry.
Probably.
Sam, we're okay. We're good, okay? We're good.
There's a song by Life Jennings. It's called Statistics. And it's talking about like the statistics of finding a good man. Mm-hmm. And it's not mathematically based. He goes through a lot of percentages. And I'm like, you add them up at the end, it doesn't add up. But one of the lyrics is like 60% of men were raised without a father. So there's a 50-50 chance that you'll marry a coward.
Oh.
And I think I was like in high school when I heard this song. I'm like, so there's a half chance that I'm a coward. Like, I'm like, Life Jennings, who are you to say that to me? I was hurt. And I'm still thinking about it. Because the song is kind of catchy. 50-50 chance you'll be marrying a coward.
Well, yeah, the percentage is already off.
Yeah.
You got a 3-minute song and you start off.
Well, I'm like, I did the math in the song, and I'm like, none of this adds up, Life. He has a lot of numbers in it, and they don't add up. But that lyric hurt me. And we don't want S to be living like that.
P.
Oh, yeah, P. S is the...
Yeah.
She's Selena from Gossip Girl. Serena, sorry.
Oh, I was
I
like...
was like, not Selena. It'd be good to be Selena, but if you're Serena from Gossip Girl, it's for all the Gossip Girl heads.
Was Serena really that bad? I kind of like Serena.
The worst.
I liked Blair. I loved Blair. I haven't seen Gossip Girl in a while, okay?
I watched it over the pandemic, so it's very fresh in my mind. Serena's awful.
Don't they kind of all suck, though?
No. Blair is bad in a way where she's like clearly like she is bad, but she's very honest about her being bad.
I like Blair. What about the main guy, though?
Oh,
Doesn't he
he's
suck?
off. Yeah, he sucks.
Dan?
Yeah, Dan sucks.
Yeah.
Serena's bad because she doesn't think she's bad. She's just like, I'm just flitting through life. People are doing things towards me. No, you're bad, but no one knows. Well, everyone knows it, but you don't know it. Mm-hmm. She thinks she's a victim in every situation, and she's not. And that's the Gossip Girl Minute. We're going to be doing that every episode.
Oh, my
Little snippets about Gossip Girl. I loved the show. It was fun.
It was a good show.
Bad last season.
Yeah, bad ending, actually.
Bad ending.
Gossip Girl, the Gossip Girl reveal wasn't what they thought it was.
No, they thought they was eating. They didn't do nothing.
They said, give me the plate.
Brandon, you don't even know what's happening.
I don't.
But let me just tell you, take the plate. All right?
Give me that plate. You thought you ate.
Yep. Rip it from
And
your
when
hands.
because sometimes you be eating though, but what happens when you're done eating? You go to the bathroom like our next star.
I was just desperately
forgot the
waiting. I'm like,
list.
Yeah.
Can you unlock your phone? I forgot the list.
Please unlock your phone.
I was like, it's like I don't know his passcode.
I'm begging you, unlock your phone.
am I the asshole for making my son clean up after his sister in the bathroom?
No.
Nope.
Unless, how old is your son?
I like how you guys both have sisters, and you're like, nah, he's
Yeah.
got to clean that up.
Yeah,
He's gotta
no,
clean
it's
that up.
worth it. Yeah.
Oh, I
You're,
guess
you're both brothers, and you're like, yeah, he's got to clean it up.
I thought it was kid. It was brother.
Yeah. Am I the asshole for making my son clean up after his sister?
Oh, son
in the
clean up.
bathroom?
Okay, I totally missed that part.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Brandon, are you still keeping the same thought, or
If I think it is what I think it is, yeah.
am I the asshole for making my son clean up after his sister in the bathroom? I'm in my 40s, female, and have 2 children: Dax, male 12, and Mia, female 14.
Dax
Pulling
is
out the
crazy. Dax
Not
is
real
a
names
crazy.
for privacy.
Oh, okay. I
Okay,
was about
thank
to
God.
say.
Don't ever name your kid Dax.
I like how you're like, that's the problem, not the fact that they put it
think
on the
it
Reddit
is.
post.
And yes, I know about you, Dax Shepard. I stand by what I said.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
My kids don't get along super well. Dax thinks pranks are really funny. I guess like every 12-year-old boy, and he annoys Mia with them a lot. It's something my husband and I have been working on, as it's the source of many fights between them. Dax gets a lot of prank ideas from YouTube and TikTok and will often recreate what he sees.
No.
Most of them are harmless, something like a fake spider in her food, etc. But this time I think he went way too far. Dax thought it would be funny to put saran wrap over the
Oh,
toilet
no.
before my daughter went to the bathroom. He says that he got the idea from online. I don't know if this is a thing, but it's a terrible prank. Basically, he put plastic wrap under the toilet seat, so if someone sits on it, well, pretty much it makes a mess instead of going into the bowl. Yeah, I know. Ew. So he does this right before Mia goes into the bathroom to pee. When she gets in there, she sits on the seat like normal, pees, and since there's plastic wrap over the hole, her pee collects on it and gets everywhere. All over the ground, on the toilet, and on her. She comes to me crying. She's embarrassed because she's a teenage girl and this is disgusting. I told Mia to shower and not to worry about the mess. Here's where I might be the asshole. I go to my son and yell at him for what he did. I tell him that's not an appropriate prank and he's old enough to know that's not okay. And then I made him clean it up. He started crying, saying it's unfair that I make him clean up his sister's pee. It's gross. And he's going to be sick. He says it's from her body and that she should clean it, but it was all his fault and literally his mess to deal with. I don't know why I should humiliate my daughter further or why I should have to clean it, and biggest thing, he needs to learn. I told him that the mess was his fault and that he should think about the repercussions of his actions next time, because this is what his prank caused. And then I stood in the doorway and watched as he cleaned all the urine off of the floor and the toilet.
Watch? That's weird.
I think it was an appropriate punishment considering it's really just the natural consequence of what he did, and it doubles as a general lesson and how to clean a toilet, which he has to learn how to do at some point anyway. Well, my husband disagrees. This all happened while he was at work, and after he comes home, Dax complained to him. He told me that I was overly harsh on our son and put him in danger by exposing him to germs.
Okay.
But I gave him the same gloves that I use when I wash the toilet, and it's not like he was unsupervised. But my husband is mad at me and told me that I went too far, and that's bad parenting. Of course, my son is mad at me too, but my daughter is on my side. Am I the asshole? Am I a bad mom?
Wow, what a way to split a house 50-50.
Yeah.
Over P? Okay. All right.
P always splits you 50-50.
P's gonna break up the household, I guess. It's
It always does.
That's life. But no, I feel like that's fair. It would have been different though if she was like making him clean and like berating him while doing it. I could see why it's like, oh, okay, maybe you might have went too far. But nah, like you caused this. And the whole like germs thing, like bro, like she collected more germs by actually just peeing on it. Mm-hmm. Like they were just sitting there like idle, just right there.
Idle.
Like she had all the pee just collected up in one little pouch, and then it spilled out. Like and he's okay? Nah. I mean, life's not always fair, but when you can make it fair, do it. And that was fair.
Yeah, I think that's like the most fair punishment, because why would somebody else have to clean that up?
Right.
I think the mom made really good points. I completely agree with her. I don't think she's the asshole.
I love the mom.
Yeah.
Because anything to stop a future pranker.
Future criminal.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need more prankers. There's too many.
Because the pranker to criminal timeline, like pipeline, is crazy.
There was like that guy who got like shot by a guy who was trying to prank. I think
Yeah.
he took his groceries out, and the guy was like, "Give me my groceries back," and the dude was like, "No, dude had a conceal and carry." He literally shoots the pranker. And you're like, you don't know people. Well, he knows his sister, but I'm like, you don't stop pranking people.
Sister shoots him.
But it's that prank specifically that I think about, because I'm like, that's how I know to laugh at the pranks. So I'm like, I think about the aftermath. Like, what is it like to clean up from this prank? And I've always hated that one. I'm like, that is a gross prank.
Mm-hmm.
And I always see it with like husbands doing it to their wives. And in my head, I'm like, the husband's probably cleaning it up, and they're married. It's like fine. But I'm like, I still think it's gross to do.
Yeah.
And then there's like the person you prank, like, no, you got to clean up this. I'm going in the toilet because I'm done with it. I don't ever want to see it. I don't want to think about it again. Now you're like, now I got to revisit this. I was over it. Right?
And you're like, it was a little smelly because of the asparagus I had for lunch.
A lot of asparagus.
You let go.
You're like, knowing you'll never have to think about or talk about it again. And then it's still there.
So yeah, mom's doing a great job parenting, teaching her son the lesson of, actions have consequences.
The dad coming, and I don't even know what his argument.
It was interesting.
Saying it's germs is like the lamest thing ever.
He just wanted his son to be right.
So your daughter could get the same germs? Like, you love your son more than your daughter, Dad?
That's not like our past story. And then I just read it again.
I guess we're doing it again.
Another story.
Sorry, it was too good of a transition.
We have different reactions. We feel different. You're like, you know what?
Oh,
I'm on P's side. No, S's side this time.
that would just be so funny. Someone's like in the comments, like, dude, I'm literally losing my mind. Someone else is like, yo, I think I'm gonna get a haircut. Like our next story.
I knew he was doing a haircut one. I knew he was
I was
doing a
waiting
haircut one. I knew. I forgot. I was like, oh no.
I thought,
And then he was
I
like,
kept
oh, you're
forgetting the
doing
list, and I was like, was it haircut or was it family cut or no? It was family dog.
Yeah,
So
family
it had to
dog.
be haircut. Like haircut, maybe. I think, right?
All right. Am I
so
the ass?
unsure of himself. And then
But he
weren't,
did it.
you weren't looking, so he got more nervous because he was like,
Was he looking at
he
me?
was frantically looking at you like, I want to transition. She's not looking. I don't know if I'm sure about it. There was so much happening.
But don't worry, there was confidence behind the button. The moment you pressed it,
She
the moment
was
you said
there.
I pressed the button.
And that's when I want to give you your flowers, because there's been an evolution in the button clicking. I've made complaints about, like, seems like you play favorites with who you do it quickly for and who you don't. But I do think you've gotten better over time, and I just want to give you your flowers for
Thank
that.
you. That's all that I hope for is
Applause. You missed it on that one.
Why would I applaud myself?
Yeah, you got it because it's for you.
Why would I applaud myself?
He said, "What were we just
Yeah.
talking
all
about?"
right, I'm taking it back.
Yeah, you need to learn more, man.
Where's the other one? Yeah, there
Yeah,
we go.
there it is.
Oh, brother.
Oh, brother, this guy stunk.
All right. Am I the asshole for forcing my stepdaughter to cut her hair?
Yes. I don't gotta
Immediately.
tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I, 31, met my husband, 34 male, 8 years ago, and we have been married for 6 years. He has an 11-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. I work from home, so I mainly end up taking care of her. I have since she was young. We have a generally good relationship. She stays at her mother's most weekends. She has incredibly long, blonde, wavy hair, just past her bottom. It's a nightmare to
chill.
take care of. It frequently tangles, and she always needs help brushing and styling it before school. I'm not a morning person, and I do not like having to wake up early to do a kid's hair. It's expensive to maintain, as she requires more products. She insists on using hair oils, which can cost around $11 and only last for a few weeks. She also insists that she has to use curly hair shampoo instead of regular shampoo and conditioner, which is often over $10 per bottle, and she goes through it at a fast rate. She won't use a regular brush on it as she insists it breaks her hair and hurts, so she uses a wide tooth comb, which takes a long time to brush when she could be doing other more productive things such as homework or helping me with chores. I decided she has become obsessed with her hair, and I do not want her to become vain, so I decided it needs to be cut. I don't see it as a big deal as I've always had shoulder-length hair as my hair does not grow very fast, and I get frequent trims. It's a lot more practical. I took her to the hairdressers as normal. In the car on the way down, she said that she wants to make sure the hairdresser doesn't cut too much. I politely explained that I would like her to cut her hair to shoulder length as it has become a burden. At first, she thought I was joking, but then she realized and she started to cry. When we got to the salon, the hairdresser was reluctant to cut her hair due to her tears, but I explained the trouble we had maintaining it and assured cutting it was best for her. In the end, the stylist agreed and cut her hair. The stylist braided her hair, then cut it. She kept it. Her hair was now just past shoulder length, and it looked a lot darker. The car journey home was silent. I offered her McDonald's, but she refused. She went straight to her room when we got back. My husband went up to see her when he got home and apparently found her on her bed sobbing, holding her old hair. My husband immediately called her mother to come and collect her. As soon as my stepdaughter was out of the door, he started yelling. Her mother also came in and gave me a mouthful. I explained my reasoning, but my husband wouldn't budge. He said if I had an issue, he would have did her hair in the mornings and that he didn't mind paying for the products. He was so furious that he said he no longer trusts me around his daughter and doesn't know if he can be with a woman who he doesn't trust with her. This broke my heart. I didn't mean her any harm. I was just tired and I'm trying to reduce stress. I've always been the one to raise her and her brother, and I'm just exhausted. Am I the asshole?
I didn't mean her any harm, but she's bawling. She's crying. Like, please don't do this. Please don't do this. She's like, I'm annoyed by it, I think.
I'm just
Your hair
tired.
sucks.
She's kind of vain.
This will show you humility.
Oh my gosh. So I'm like, I don't have an experience with it personally, but I'm like, in my idea of parents and step-parents, it is good when you're all collectively parenting, but there is a hierarchy. The parents and then the step-parents. So you shouldn't be doing anything major to this kid that you don't run by the parents first. You just saying it in your head, the fact that she didn't bring it up with her husband before, because he was obviously against it, he would have been like, no. She just like, I'm just making an executive decision and doing this. I'm on the husband's side. I'm like, can I trust you with my kid? This is like the thing, kids don't have that much. They're boring and dumb. This is her one thing that she has is her hair.
I like how you're trying to say something sentimental, but then you just mean to kids in general. Kids suck.
Kids don't suck, but it's like they don't have much to be like interesting. This is her interesting thing.
Long hair.
She loves it. She takes care of it. She puts a lot of time into it. And you're like, you know what? Be sensible and have. That's what I hated her. As soon as she's like, I have shoulder length hair, and I'm like, you're the worst. I know your personality, and you're bad, and I don't like you. I was completely away from her as soon as she said that.
Shoulder length hair, but it's like the freaking silk, almost like Karen cut.
Yeah. As I was reading this was really tough because it made me immediately appreciate my mom, who always gave me the autonomy to have whatever haircut I wanted. And even when there was a time that I cut my very thick, curly, wavy hair to like right here, and it looked like this, she let me have the autonomy to at least make that decision and keep my hair like I wanted to for a very long time. And especially when you're young like that and you're a girl, the attachment to the hair is a lot. And the only thing that I can relate this to is I had a family member who, when they were younger and they were bad, their mother cut their hair in a purposely embarrassing way.
Oh my god.
So that they would be embarrassed. Now, this girl, she got shoulder length hair, so it's not necessarily the same way, but the fact of how much hair affects a person.
That's kind of child abuse, I feel.
No, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my gosh.
But the hair affects you in like such a crazy way that I don't even understand. I know I'm not necessarily speaking the best to, but it's really sad to hear this story and how it affected this girl.
I think too. So at first when you're reading it, I was like, okay, maybe she won't be bad. And then she started explaining everything. So at first, in the perfect world, I was like, okay, she's already talked to everybody. She's probably on board, just doesn't want to do it. Because like, what is it? I used to have freeform locks. And I was just like, my dad was like, you need to cut that off, man. But my dad didn't like any hairstyle that wasn't a brush cut or a flat top. So I was like, nah. But then when I cut it, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. I look way better with like.
But you made the decision.
Yeah,
Right.
I made the decision.
Your dad didn't strap you in and was like, you're crying, and your dad's like, cut it. Your tears were like, please don't. And they're like, I guess your dad's paying us? That's wild.
We gotta do it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
that
the part that hurt me, because
hairstylist-
I'm like, I'm almost, you have all these excuses, you have all these reasons why you don't like the long hair. But when you see her crying and going, I do not want this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, yeah, we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
That's where at least would be like, okay, we don't do it now, but I need to talk to your mom and your dad because I don't like this situation and we need to find some kind of compromise. But going ahead with it, you're like, that's like almost sociopathic behavior to
Yeah.
me.
Well, even go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like when you get later into the story, I think one of the other reasons she probably cut it is for what is it? Not projecting, but she said my hair is shoulder length because it grows really slow. I think she's jealous too of the fact that she's got all this hair.
Oh, you think it's malicious? That makes it weird. I didn't want to go that far, but you think it's
Well, because why would she have the need to add my hair is shoulder length and it grows slow, and her hair is really long and it grows fast? Because there would be no point for that.
oh my gosh, that's even more evil.
I think it could have been malicious because I don't know. She just describes this girl having a passion for her hair in such a negative way. Like, she calls her vain. She says that when she's brushing her hair, she could be doing something better, like doing homework or helping me with chores.
Yeah.
Like Brandon mentioned about how she's like, my hair takes a long time to grow. And I just think it's more, like you said, more sensible. And I'm the one taking care of her hair. I'm the one getting up early and helping her with her hair. It's just like, it's really sad. But what I was going to say is, even if she took her all the way to the thing and it took her crying for the stepmom to stop, that is enough trauma.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
if I
for
was the
sure.
dad, I'd be like, I still don't know if I can
Yeah,
trust you
that's
with my
it's still
kid.
bad for sure.
That's horrible.
Because you already caused the trauma. I mean, it obviously is way worse once you cut the hair.
Yeah.
But, okay, so there's a top comment here. You're the asshole. How dare you cut her hair and take away her autonomy just because you have decided that she is vain? What the absolute hell? I'm seriously at a loss for words that you even have to ask whether or not this was an asshole thing to do. Shame on you, seriously. Another comment, and labeling that as vain was so useful as it enabled doing anything to the girl in the name of morality.
Yeah.
She could be doing other more productive things like helping me with chores. That is the real issue. OP wants a step that's more Cinderella and way less Rapunzel.
Oh.
Hmm.
In my own little corner, in my own little chair.
The fact that you know the lyrics.
I watched that movie several times. I
Too
watched
many.
it like a month ago, probably. It's a good movie. It's great songs.
He's like, that's my Bible.
Hey, cut that out, but it's my Bible. Was there anyone like, I kind of see your side?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm glad there's people like this who have no self-awareness, she posted this to Reddit, like,
Oh, yeah.
They-
They were
people-
immediately assholes.
she's like, hey, people gonna be like, kind of seeing my side. There's no way that I would think that.
Yeah, the post had like 17,000 upvotes, and that one comment saying that she was the asshole had 65,000 upvotes.
Oh my gosh.
So people were like,
Ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah. no one likes you and you're bad.
You're on your own.
Because I think in the situation, I would talk to the parents and be like, it's getting too much for me. I'm done. And we can talk to her like, you have to take care of your hair now. If this is something that you choose and you like, giving autonomy, I like that. I'm like, you're going to take care of your hair. You love it. You're going to take care of your hair. And now you need to know the consequences of what it is to take care of your hair. And if she can't do it, then she makes a decision to cut her hair. But I'm like, if you don't want to be, just don't be involved in it. Mm-hmm. It's weird that you took this ownership of it. Like, it was on you. You're the stepmom. Mm-hmm. Okay? Just bow out of it. I don't know. I feel it's so weird, her taking ownership of the hair like that.
How do you not feel bad?
Yeah, how do you didn't, from the way she typed it too, it seems like she didn't, well, she would have said it too, but she did not have an ounce of remorse.
Because that's the thing I think about, right?
Or you think she's crying while she's writing this? She's like,
no, I'm saying that she didn't. Yeah, she's like you were saying, like, everybody's going to be on my side. Like, everybody's going to understand me. But it's like, no, you're bad. You're evil. And you did this with a smile on your face, you freaking sociopath.
And the hairstylist, I feel bad for the hairstylist. Like, your job is like, I'm just trying to make people look beautiful, feel better about themselves, give them the look they want. And then you come, they're just crying. And you're like, you have to like decide whether you're going to do it or not. Do I take the money or do I ruin this girl's day and probably her life? This is going to be something she talks about in therapy for the rest of her life. And I'm associated with that now.
And hopefully you wouldn't choose to do that. Right. Sadly, this one did.
Even though, now that I think about it, at least barbers, I've seen so many kids cry in barbers' chairs.
But it's different for barbers.
Yeah, they might be used to seeing people cry. Because I'm like, I've seen several little boys cry in a barber chair. Wait, how old was this girl?
11.
Oh my gosh, come on.
And then it's like afterwards, like, you like it? Yeah. Like, look at the mirror. Look at.
No, I don't.
I try my best. Like the lady.
Little 11-year-old girl, she goes, I curse you. I curse your hands. I curse your children's hands. Everything that you do in the future will be cursed. And you're like, what is that? So the 11-year-old girl, she starts floating. She's like, I curse everyone in this establishment. Because she gets to do that.
That just got really dark. I don't know.
It was great.
Yeah.
Someone animate that one. That would be a great one.
It's just like, honestly, if you're doing the same thing if you want to cut your family dog's hair like in our next story.
Am I the asshole for choosing our family dog over a friend hard on his luck?
Oh my gosh.
Me, 32 male, my wife, 30 female, and our 2 daughters, both under 5, live in a decent-sized apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Not grand or anything of the sort, but big enough for us and for us to host another person for a limited amount of time that it would not be a burden. Recently, a friend of mine, 28 male, that I've known for a few years from an old job is going through a divorce, and he has asked me for a place to stay. I talked it over with my wife, and she has no problem with him staying with us. When I told him that he could stay, he was so grateful, but then told me to let him know once we had gotten rid of our dog and deep cleaned the home, as he is severely dog allergic. We never knew about this, as it has never been an issue.
That changes so much.
It does.
We always hung out at a mutual friend's house, work, the bar, or double dates at a restaurants where no dogs were. I told him that we would not be able to get rid of our dog to accommodate, as he is a part of our family, getting older, and that would honestly devastate our girls and us. He is now running around bad-mouthing us to our friend group for taking back our offer for him to stay with us and choosing a dog over his health. I have been receiving multiple calls saying that I am the asshole for not helping him now.
Oh my God.
Wait, there's updates to this one, right?
Yes,
Okay.
but I'll read it a little
So
bit.
there's got to be layers to it. All right. Up front, though, you're wild if you think you're going to come to my house and change the rules.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Yeah.
you're down on your luck, but it's a divorce. That's on you. Kind of, maybe, I think. But yeah, no.
I can see why you're getting divorced, because you're just making wild statements like, okay, so you're going to be doing this, right?
So when are you getting rid of the dog?
when are you not going to be allergic to dogs?
That's
Maybe let's try
funny
that one
not
first.
knowing at all. Like, you didn't know at all. He just assumed, he's like, okay, so thank you. So the dog, is that going to be next week? Or
Are you
whatever
putting it down
yeah,
or
like-
taking it to a
Yeah,
pound?
because I can do it too if
And
you
then
want me to.
deep clean the house too. Like, I cannot be around that. That's insane. How do you just the audacity?
The audacity.
That
I want to know what the friend group's saying to it, because I'm like, even me not being a pet guy, that's dumb. I'm like, I would never ever.
Even you see it.
Yeah,
You're
I would
like-
never go to someone's house
Yeah.
and be like, you got to get rid of them. Because my mom and sister are like deathly allergic to cats. Mm-hmm. Not deathly, but it's like
They're just on their deathbed. Hairball.
every time they get next to our cat, I'm like, Mom, stop going around with cats. But and we go to people's houses that have cats. They're just like, they do things to keep themselves safe. They don't put it on the owner to be like,
Yeah.
hey. And then you're just saying get rid of them, not like, can we keep them sectioned off in this part of the house and I'll be in this room and we just always keep it closed. I'll stay away from it. It's like, get rid of the dog, deep clean your house. And I guess I'm not paying for any. I'm not going to pay for the putting the dog down.
especially if you got kids. That I think that's what it's like. There's another layer. Like, you're not. I don't think you're picking the family dog over him. You're picking your family
Your
over
family,
him.
the health of your family.
Yeah, because the dog's a part of the family, but it's like, I guess from our perspective, it's just like, we don't understand like the closeness of a dog owner, but it's like,
No, I do understand the closeness. Like, I've been around dogs and I have friends who have dogs that I love their dog. I'm like, I get you having love for it.
mm-hmm.
But then when it gets to be like, my dog has cancer, we need to do chemo, I'm like, that's where I'm like, the financial things, where I'm like, we'll pay $5,000 to get surgery on it. I'm like, he gonna have cancer, and that's what God wanted for him. He's gonna have dog cancer, and he's gonna die of dog cancer, because that's where my line is. I'm like, I love you, but I'm not giving you a little cast for your little leg. You walk, yeah, I'm not doing it. Yeah.
Even if it's a healable thing.
Even if it's a healable thing, because you're wild, you're an animal, so you're meant to just be like in the world. You get hurt, that's your life.
That's silly. I think that's a little bit silly.
But my kid gets a splinter, I will pay whatever it takes. I will get a bionic finger because it makes sense. It's a person, it's a human. They have value to me.
well, it's a little different. I was
And
saying
Brandon
like,
agrees with me.
No, I was saying more so like, like if you had a friend that wasn't hyperallergenic or like, no, not that. No, I don't even want to address that. That's not what I was getting at here. I was like, you got a burger and there's a homeless man or there's a dog. I couldn't understand why people would go,
Oh, yeah.
here, dog. Because it's like, the dog's, it's just out here. The homeless man,
I think the same
he
thing.
could still very much so have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The dog is just going to eat. Like, if you give a dog enough food, he'll just, like a dog could eat himself to death.
Mm-hmm.
A homeless man will eat what he needs or what he can. Not necessarily saying he could be smart with his money or whatever. But it's like he still could, get right to have a purpose. The dog would just be there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're getting really deep for what this story is about.
No, I
like,
think we got to get deep on this one.
Because I'm coming from, type of person
Yeah,
where
yeah.
I do care about dogs. And if my dog had cancer, if I had the means for it, and if there was a chance for it to survive for a longer period of time, then I would potentially do that.
Okay, then let me jump back on that.
Like, I'll give you an
train.
example. My dog, he had to get a lot of his teeth removed because they were like hurting, like it was hurting his overall health. His teeth, some of his teeth were that bad.
Okay.
And so he had to get an expensive surgery. And even though he's an older dog, he had to get, it's not euthanized, because
Yeah,
euthanized
that's
is when
dead.
they die.
Yeah,
What's the
that's
one where they
killing
like go under for
Anesthesia.
He had to get anesthesia.
Paralyzed.
Oh my God.
Wait.
They're breaking like you're paralyzed. They're like, wow.
he had to get anesthesia for a little bit, which is a
Okay.
risk for
Yeah.
little dogs
Oh, yeah.
and older dogs.
It's for people too. It's
Yes.
a risk.
And so we went through with that risk for him because he has multiple years to live. It's not like even if we went through it, there's still a chance that he would like die like in 6 months. Yes. So if you want to get deep about this dog stuff, I can see both sides. Where
but
it's
just like you explained that, I'm on that side. I think the specific thing you said was if you have the means to do it.
yeah.
I've had too many friends who are like broke, and they go into debt for the dog, and I'm like, so you're gonna ruin your financial future? Maybe that's me being too pragmatic, but I'm like, you're gonna ruin your financial future for a dog? I can see getting a loan for your kids or your family, your grandma or something. Well, not your grandma. There's some grandmas out here we're not checking for, but other
I would
family
for my
members, we were like, yeah, I'll go into debt. I'll leverage my future to save you or protect you.
Mm-hmm.
But people are doing that for their pets. That's where I'm like, if I have the means, yes, I'll drop $5,000 for my pet because I have the means to do it. But I'm not going to go broke for you, and I'm not going to put myself in danger for it.
But at that point, even if it would be a hard consideration of like, I mean, I don't know the possibility of this, but if that were the situation for my dog, I guess it would be a conversation of borrowing from family members and stuff, or second worst comes to worst, you have to give the dog away to somebody who is able to afford the care for the dog.
Right.
And so they're now taking care of the dog with the hopeful promise that they have enough money to take care of the dog. Because even then, I still wouldn't put the dog down if I had more options. Like if there was somebody else that was able to take care of the dog, even if it wasn't me, and if I had to say goodbye to my dog in a different way, then I would do that.
Yeah, killing is probably a strong thing. You're like, hey, shelter, Humane Society.
Anybody?
I can't afford
Any takers?
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to just kill things.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, back to the story.
Oh, back to the story.
About allergies.
It was very clear cut. The guy.
Very clear
Yeah.
cut. So there's a few edits here. Edit number 1.
Oh boy.
I've seen it asked, me and my family are American from the East Coast, very pet-friendly area, but we no longer live in the USA as of now due to my work, and currently live in a not-so-dog-friendly country on the other side of the world. Dogs here are not looked at as they are in the U.S.
Oh.
Many view them more than pests and don't understand viewing one as a family here. Edit number 2. Thank you for the responses, as I know we do not live in the U.S. at the moment, and I know back home that there would be no second guessing if I was the asshole in this situation. Right. I have talked with a few of our friends, and some now are at least indifferent. They still really don't get me valuing something like that over a person's comfort, but they at least acknowledge as a difference in world upbringing. While others are still upset that I would not do this for our friend, the friend in question is going to be staying with someone else. They wanted to stay with me as I was the only one in the friend group that had a spare room that could be used as a small bedroom. As I said, whenever we would meet up with others, it was always in public or at their house, and we have had maybe 4 or 5 people over at our home, most of which are also from the U.S. One friend did visit us back when we first moved over here, but was uncomfortable around our dog and asked that we would keep him away while he was there. Many have said that they do not wish to hang out in a place that they view as unclean due to a dog living there, which I did not understand as many have pets, mostly cats, but again, understanding the difference in world upbringing. But most people viewed him as not the asshole, so I wonder what all the comments are coming from, or if it's just literally the people around him.
The comments are coming from America.
Yeah.
You think the comments are American people saying, you're the asshole?
No, you're
No.
not the asshole.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, we all decided that he wasn't.
Yeah. That's what I'm like, the culture thing is a good call out of like why their friend group's like. No,
Right,
yeah.
okay.
But the Reddit could be like, no, you're not the asshole. That's fine. I think in this situation, I still don't think you're the asshole because it's still your home.
Right.
So I respect your culture, but you still have to respect mine. And yes, the dog is important to me, and we're not going to get rid of the dog because you think it's not important. It's a pest or whatever. It's dirty. It's unclean. Like, hey, we're just bringing a little slice of home over here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, buddy.
That's interesting. I guess I never really thought about it that people in different cultures would think that having a dog at your house means that your house is unclean. I'm like, that's interesting. I mean, I get it because like Baxter sheds a lot, so there's like upkeep of clean. But I never thought about it because I can see their point where they're like, you either have to clean a lot more or your house is not as clean as somebody that doesn't have pets.
We've all been to certain people's houses where they have pets. You're like, this is a pet house. Because there's some people like, they don't clean at all. And
it shows.
Even people with cats, you're like, there's a smell. You have to clean the litter box. Just because they do it over there doesn't mean that's it. That's the end of the job. No, there's more steps. And it just smells like a litter box. Ugh. I just think of a house I've been to where I'm like, it smells in here. Because I've been to people's house where I'm like, I'll get dog hair on me, but it doesn't smell. Like they clean their house. It's just like, this dog sheds a lot. It's just hard to keep up with. I'm like, they know about deodorizers and like that kind of stuff. And you're like, yeah, you can clean. But there's some houses where you're like, oh, it smells like a zoo in here. Which that might be what their culture thinks of. Like, it's like a zoo. Why would you want this in here?
And that I can understand because yes, I have been to some people's houses with animals, and it just smells like pee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I the asshole for having my son miss his graduating road trip to watch his siblings?
I'm gonna say yes.
I'll say no.
Seems like I don't like this.
I don't like it, but I'm like, he's about to leave soon. You got to get him while you still got him.
Look, we've dealt with another bad parent. With a 2.
If it's a stepmom, then yes, you're wrong.
You're just wrong for being a stepmom first.
Well, I think we're starting off well because it says my son, so.
Oh, thank God.
Okay,
We're doing
at
good.
least we're
Thank
good.
God.
But she said my daughter too, so.
Which, in most signs, I'm like, yeah, that's good. But also.
On Reddit, you're like, I don't know.
I don't know.
My son just graduated high school, and we were paying so that he could go on a road trip with his friends. He was supposed to go Wednesday. My wife's mother and father got into a car accident. They live in another state, so we had to drive around 4 hours. My wife was a wreck and wasn't in the position to drive since her dad was critical. He pulled through, luckily. We have 2 other kids, 11 and 7. We can't leave them at home alone, and we couldn't find a sitter to watch them on such short notice. We even tried our neighbors, but he couldn't do it. So that left our 18-year-old. He was pissed, to put it mildly, but did it. I told him we would make up for it. I told him we would make it up to him, and if he could ask if his friend could move it back a week. They couldn't, sadly. We were gone for 2 days. He pulled through. My wife stayed, and I headed back. I paid him for watching the kids and went to talk to him about getting him on the trip. It was supposed to be 2 weeks, and they should just be a state over. He blows up about ruining his trip, and that there's no point in going, even though it should still be about 12 days left of the trip. He called me a jerk and locked himself in his room. I need another opinion, since this was an emergency and he doesn't seem to care that his grandparents almost passed away.
Yes, I was right. I said no. I don't think, especially you being like, hey, it was 2 days. Let's get you on the trip. You still got a lot of time. And it's not like they're in Europe. We'll just get you over there the next date and you'll resume the trip with everybody else. I think that's the best you can do in that situation.
Yeah, but he's just being unreasonable. But he's young. You know, young people are always selfish.
Right.
So I could see why he's like not like seeing it from their perspective. But how do you just do? I would have been more concerned about the grandparents. I mean, maybe it's because, you know, I don't have many. But I would have been like, yo, my grandparents are in critical condition. I'm not going on this trip. Or at least until they get old. But I don't know. That's also me. Like, me and my family are really close. So it's like, if they feeling something, I'm going to feel it too. Right? If I go on that trip, I'm going to feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that. When we went on my first cruise in 2020, I came back and found out that my grandpa was in critical condition, and then he later passed away. But if I would have known that my grandfather was in the hospital before, because my parents, they made the decision to wait until I came home, because I think they found out like a day before, which I actually do kind of appreciate it, because I mean, it's not like I'm going to be able to get off the boat and to come, early or whatever. But if that was going to happen like a few days before I went on the trip, like you're saying, that's the only thing that I would think about is how my grandpa's doing, and if he is in critical condition, am I going to be able to see him for the last few days of his life? Because at this point, I'm not thinking about enjoying myself on the trip anymore. I'm thinking about how he's doing, how my parents are doing, whoever's daughter or son that is, or whoever's dad that is. But yeah. So there's an update. Well, he called his dad. Let's say it didn't end well. He basically said the same thing that he said to me. Wife had a breakdown on the phone with him. She sent him the injuries and pictures of grandpa/grandma. He finally came out of his room and told me he isn't going to go on the trip and the plane tickets aren't needed. Talked to my wife, never heard her that mad. Son confirmed what was happening. He started yelling at her the moment that the call started, and she lost her shit when he called her selfish. Grandpa has some feelings back in his legs, which was a huge concern. For people saying we didn't have an emergency plan, we do. First, my closest friend was on vacation. Main babysitter not available. Backup babysitter not available. Last resort, grandparents, hospital. We tried to find someone. That's why we even asked our neighbor, which I have a good relationship with. This will be my last update. Had a conversation with my son about everything. Mom and him will have a conversation when she calms down. His friends are not a state over. They're about 2 down at this point and going to Mexico. They probably will get to the border tonight. They were supposed to be going to California. He had his passport and everything ready. This is a fucking mess. I haven't informed my wife yet, and we'll wait until she is calmer. I'll leave off with, I hope none of you ever have to deal with a situation like this, and please remember your parents are human. Jeez. Top comment, because I'm so confused at that update. So I guess from that update, I'm assuming he and his friends were actually planning to go to Mexico.
Yeah.
And so when it was 2 days into their trip, he was like, no, they're not there anymore because they're, driving down there.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he was so mad. So top comment, honestly, you're the asshole. I don't understand why you couldn't take your kids. It's their grandparents who were in critical condition after all. What would have happened if he had already left? Next comment, I agree. OP could have stayed at their in-laws' house with the kids while his wife and mother-in-law were at the hospital with father-in-law. Somebody else said, and I can't read all of this, but so we're just disregarding the fact that OP's wife probably needed support and help from him as well. It literally says in the post that she was a wreck, which no one can blame her for because both parents were in a car accident and were injured, even if it's just her dad who was in critical condition.
Yeah.
I think being there for your spouse in an emergency situation like this trumps missing a couple days of a 2-week-long vacation, and OP did try to ensure his son will still get his trip. So I'm utterly confused by that post because, yeah, everybody voted him an asshole. But
really?
What?
Yeah, that was one of the ones that were asshole. Yeah. But I'm confused by that because Brandon made a good point about, about how you would be worried about the parents, how you wouldn't even be worried about going on the trip in the first place. I totally get that point too. I'm not sure where the asshole's coming from, and then I'm confused as to why. I don't know if he fully explained. So was he lying about where he was supposed to go? Was he actually planning on going to Mexico?
Yeah.
Also, why was the mom mad? I don't know if you guys caught that, but apparently she was yelling at somebody at that point, either the husband or
She was yelling
son.
at the son.
The son, yeah.
For being
a brat.
Yeah, being a brat and not wanting to go
Mm.
because it was a drug mule trip.
Oh.
I think that's what they were hiding out.
Oh, family
Being
business.
family business, being a drug mule. No, we can. I have to be there from the beginning because that's when the drugs get packed.
What is happening?
Your son is dead.
What is happening? All right.
So when the 2 weeks are up,
thank you, everybody.
Actually, you know what I think happened? Why he's really mad?
Yeah.
Because we glossed over the neighbors. I think those 2 days that they were there, the neighbors are like out on the front porch sunbathing. They're like, "You said you were busy, neighbor." The neighbor's like grilling on the grill, like, "Oh, oh." They're waving at him. "Hey, you want to come out?" He just stewing mad, just angry. They were just like, yeah, they're having a party. They're like, oh.
He's like, that's supposed to be me in Mexico right now.
They're like, I wish we could have kids right now, but we can't. We're so busy. Ah! Margarita! They're having a great time. He's just sitting there looking over at the neighbor. And then he blows up at his dad because he's 18 years old. He doesn't know how to control his emotions because he's seeing his selfish neighbors over there living it up when they could have took care of these kids.
So thank you everybody for joining us.
But I think it's the drug mule thing. I do think it's the drug mule thing. And I need an update to see if the son made it.
Thank you everybody for joining us for the Comfort Level podcast.
Son is in danger.
We'll see you next week. I don't know if there'll ever be an update about the drug mule son.
Hopefully
conspiracy.
You'll see us because I think I'm somehow roped into this.
Oh no!
I don't know how, but I think by us listening to the story, we're involved.
Probably need to cut most of it out.
Yeah, we
just
probably
to be
need to
safe.
cut this because I don't want to be.
Cartel's coming.